In the early days of the Clone Wars, the Separatists had a very clear strategy: deny the Republic any resources they could. One of their early targets was the world of Malastare, home to significant fuel reserves which would be valuable for whichever side controlled them. Finding their planet under Separatist invasion, the local population called for the assistance of the Republic, which rushed to the defense of the fuel-rich world. This began the Battle of Malastare, which was one of the longest and fiercest battles of the first half of the war. However, the battle came to a culminating head as Separatist forces began moving on the capital of Malastare itself, with the intention of seizing control of the planet and its valuable fuel resources. Meanwhile, the Republic, pledged to defend Malastare, had lined up their forces in front of the capital in preparations for this attack. The capital itself was surrounded by fuel depots full of valuable fuel which could be used to supply either side's military. Seeing the value of this target, the Separatists had amassed a massive force of battle droids and armored units to assault the capital. However, the importance of the coming battle was not lost on Republic leadership either, and Chancellor Palpatine had greenlit the use of a new weapon, the electro-proton bomb. So as the Separatists arrayed their massive military in preparation for a large frontal assault, the Republic deployed its troops, as well as local defensive forces, to prepare for this attack. The Republic troops ultimately consisted of mostly infantry, members of the 501st most notably, as well as ATTEs and a number of RX-200 assault tanks. They were reinforced by a number of local Dug defenders belonging to the Malastare government. On the opposite side, the Separatists had a significant force amassed for this attack. Approximately 200,000 battle droids of B1 and B2 variants, a number of armored assault tanks, which formed the armored backbone of the assault force, a large force of NR N99 Persuader class enforcer droids, which were more commonly known as snail tanks, and formations of hyena bombers and vulture droids to support the attack from the air. With their forces amassed, Separatist troops began simply marching forward toward the capital, planning to steamroll Republic troops. When Separatist troops had advanced far enough to where they could open fire on the Republic defenders, they did just that, with the infantry formations in the front opening fire on the Republic defenders. Republic troops taking cover behind rock formations and other small cover elements on the battlefield returned fire against the advancing Separatist troops, in an open field engagement very reminiscent of the Battle of Geonosis. However, lessons had been learned at the Battle of Geonosis that this sort of open format of fighting was really not advantageous for either side, so both sides thought to interrupt this pattern of combat. The Separatists did so by deploying a number of vulture droids and hyena bombers to harass Republic forces from above. As they swooped in on Republic formations, however, the Republic armor positioned behind the Republic infantry opened fire on the incoming Separatist aircraft, most notably a number of RX-200 assault tanks. These beams were effective at shooting down these Separatist bombers and fighters, however, many of these Separatist aircraft crashed into the ATTE formations positioned behind the Republic infantry. With their bomber forces failing to break the ongoing stalemate, the Separatists moved their infantry aside and allowed some of their lighter armored units to advance forward, most notably a large number of dwarf spider droids, which were fairly formidable to Republic infantry. Seeing these as an imminent threat, Dug commanders ordered their cavalry units to advance, as mounted infantry charged the dwarf spider droids. However, they were cut to pieces by withering Separatist fire, and only a handful of them were even able to approach their targets, and many of them met their demise shortly thereafter. With that charge failing, the Republic decided it was time to deploy their secret weapon, and a flight of Republic aircraft were launched from the hangars on the Imperial Palace within the capital. Well, the core of this flight was a number of Y-wing bombers, one of which did carry an electro-proton bomb. They were supported by a handful of ARC-170s, as well as a number of V-19 Torrents to shoot down any Separatist aircraft that got in the way. With the advancing Republic air power, the Separatists moved their AATs into the line of fire, opening fire with the AATs to carry out both mortar strikes against the Republic infantry defenders and anti-air strikes against the incoming Republic fighters. However, the armored assault tank was not really made for either of those roles and didn't necessarily excel at them. The end result were that the tanks were simply left defenseless while ARC-170s swooped in and strafed them with heavy laser fire. Seeing Republic air domination over the battlefield becoming more and more of a threat, the Separatists launched yet another wave of vulture droids, this time with the intention of clearing the skies of Republic fighters. However, they were quickly met not by Republic fire, but by fire from local forces, who used a series of railguns to fire large projectiles into the atmosphere and intercept the droid starfighters. Those that weren't intercepted by ground fire were quickly picked off by the gunners on the Y-Wing bombers and the V-19 Torrents that had been sent up for fighter support. Still, the battle in the air continued to rage, with droid fighters now outnumbering Republic aircraft. However, in a crucial flaw, the focus of the Separatist fighters were not on the bombers, but instead on the fighters that had been sent to support them. This allowed this flight of Republic bombers to slip through to the center of the battlefield and deploy their electro-proton bomb. With the release of the electro-proton bomb, the time until the battle was over was at this point limited. The munition exploded directly above Separatist formations and created a shockwave that destroyed the heart of the Separatist formation and deactivated nearly every battle droid on the battlefield, with a few remnants being picked off by Republic and local forces following the engagement. However, the detonation of the bomb also opened a large sinkhole, which ultimately ended up posing a threat to Republic and local defender forces as well. With the detonation of the electro-proton bomb and the deactivation of the vast majority of Separatist forces on the planet, the Battle of Malastare came to an end with a Republic victory. In the aftermath of the battle, the sinkhole was investigated, and it was found that they had awoken a Zillo beast, which was later captured and transferred to Coruscant for study. Having successfully driven the Separatists off their world and, to the knowledge of the Dug, killed the Zillo beast, the local Malastare government signed a treaty with the Republic, allowing the Republic to utilize the fuel sources held on their world. These fuel sources would play a major role in coming Republic offensives and support Republic military operations for a good portion of the remainder of the war. The Battle of Malastare is often forgotten because it's overshadowed by the Zillo beast crisis on Coruscant that would follow almost immediately afterward, and as a direct result of the battle, by the way. But it is a great example of Separatist attempts to cut off Republic resources in the early days of the war. After all, the Separatists are just now starting to realize that they don't really hold as much of an advantage as they thought. Another great example of these Separatist attempts was their attack on Camino not that long before this engagement. If you'd like to learn about the Battle of Camino, I'll leave a link in the upper right-hand corner to my battle analysis on that. And if you have any other engagements you'd like to see covered in future episodes of Battle Analysis and added to the archive, you can let me know down below in the comments. Last but not least, if you enjoyed this video, head down below, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload new videos. So for Sci-Fi Deep Dive, I'm Colin, and I will see you next time.